welcome to Mosaic at Home. I am your virtual host, Elise. And before we get started, I just have a few things to say. So first things first, Mosaic small groups are still happening this semester. So this happens on Monday nights. It's 7 p.m. for the guys and 7:30 for the ladies. So if you'd like to participate, just send us an email at mosaiccampuschurch@gmail.com and we'll give you all the information you need. Also, we just want to thank you guys for participating in the Mosaic Big Give. We are so thankful and appreciative of your generosity and your support to us in this way. So yeah, that's all I have to say. I hope you enjoy the rest of Mosaic at Home.
Hi Mosaic, my name is Courtney. I'm one of the worship leaders here at Mosaic Campus Church. I'm so excited that you've joined us tonight to worship. We're going to sing about God's goodness and His faithfulness and who He is. So let's just take a moment to quiet our hearts, to lift our eyes to Jesus and just focus on that, how good He is and how faithful He is. Let's sing together. I will sing of your goodness. I will sing of your love. Though the seasons come quickly, you have always been enough. And though the night may get darker, though the waiting seems long, you have always been faithful to remind me of your love. And you are good. In the morning I sing, you are good. In the evening I sing, you are good. You are good to me. You have always been patient. You have always been kind. You're consistent through the ages. Oh, what a friend of mine. So I remind my soul to bless you, standing firm upon your truth, knowing you cannot be shaken. I've seen what you can do. And you are good. In the morning I sing, you are good. In the evening I sing, you are good. You are good to me. You are good. Oh, you are good. In the morning I sing, you are good. In the evening I sing, you are good. You are good to me. You keep on getting better. 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 Keep on getting better. You 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 keep on getting better. And you are good. In the morning I
Hey everybody, and once again, welcome to Mosaic at Home. I hope you're doing so well this week. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Steve Grimes, and I get the best opportunity in the world of being the pastor at Mosaic Campus Church. We're just so happy you took the time to take some time of your Sunday evening to join us this week. This week is a special week because we are doing story night, which we've done a few times at Mosaic in the past. But before we get into that, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of those of you who sacrificially and generously gave towards our big give this week. We so appreciate your support in this way. This is just yet another way of you showing that you believe in what Mosaic is doing, and you're valuing the experience that you are having at Mosaic. So for those who gave towards our big give this semester, thank you so much. If you haven't given yet and you would like to, it is not too late. You can do so through e-transfer to mosaiccampuschurch@gmail.com, and we'll make sure that goes towards our big give fund. But once again, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. As I said, tonight is story night, and we started doing this, I don't know when, probably a year and a half ago, where we take a time at least once a semester and we highlight a story of somebody that's a part of our Mosaic family. And just with the craziness of everything that's been going on with COVID and going from digital church to then moving to in person and then back to digital, we kind of lost story night, which is really sad. But we are picking it back up this week, and we're really excited about it. And this week we are sharing the story of Riley Foss, who's just a key member of our Mosaic family. He's really involved, has been coming out to Mosaic for a while, and just has an incredible story of someone who grew up in church and can celebrate that fact and is thankful for that fact, but also wrestled through some tensions with growing up in church and what that meant for his own life and some of the things he was going through. And Riley's very vulnerable. He's very honest in his story, which I really appreciated because I think it's going to resonate with so many people who are watching. So if you feel inclined, I really encourage you, as Riley's sharing his story, in the comments, just encourage him and thank him for being willing to share his story this week. Write some comments on some points that you heard from his story that have made an impact on you, and just let him know that you're behind him, supporting him, and thankful for him for sharing his story. So without prolonging anything, here's Riley's story, and afterwards I'll come back and just do a little brief talk afterwards. So enjoy this talk here today. So maybe before we get into a bit of your story, maybe you can let everybody know a little bit about who you are in case they don't know you. What program are you studying in right now? What are some hobbies you have, interests, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so my name is Riley. I'm a fourth year biology student. I have a psychology minor. Um, I'm looking at going into the medical field after school, but I don't know. Sorry, my cat is really looking for attention right now. But
Sorry.
uh, yeah, looking into going into the medical field. Don't know exactly where that will take me, but figuring out, going with the flow.
Mm.
And my hobbies are I like art. I do a lot of sketching and digital art. Play video games, classic, uh, and that's basically it right now.
Nice. I guess it's hard to have hobbies when you're in the middle of school too.
Yeah, and a lockdown. So
Yeah, that's true too. That's true.
yeah,
Are you hoping to apply to Munn Med School or?
yeah, that's the plan. Hmm.
Awesome. That's awesome, man. Hopefully we'll get you in and you can stick around here for much longer.
Fingers crossed. Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe you can let people know too, what was life kind of like for you growing up? Where did you grow up? But also, what was your church experience like? I know I'm pretty sure you attended church pretty well your whole life. So what was that like for you?
Uh, Church. Well, yeah, I grew up going to church. Uh, so there wasn't really a point in my life where it was too unfamiliar, really.
Mm.
Um, I grew up in Embry, so it's a small town. Basically, everyone goes to church. If you live here, you know people through the church. Um, yeah, that's basically it. It's not too much of a exciting story or anything.
And like, so was church like a twice a Sunday thing for you, like with Sunday school and all that? Like,
It was, yeah. I went to Sunday school. It was when I was younger, it was mandatory in the house. We
mm,
had to go to Sunday school and church.
okay,
As we got older, it kind of, I don't want to say became less of a rule, but it kind of, like things started to change. So like life got kind of busy. So like
mm,
we didn't really attend as much as we should have. So we went to church twice every Sunday. It kind of like lessened a bit as we got older.
mm.
Um, to be honest, I didn't like it. If I'm being totally honest.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, was there ever a point where church was like, I don't know, either boring or something you had no interest in? Like,
Yeah, definitely. I didn't enjoy going.
mm,
Uh, One of the main reasons, I guess, was because like there's not a whole lot of young people, so it's mostly like older people, and just wanted they were there to like listen to the same hymns,
mm,
the same message, like that kind of thing.
yeah.
And oh, there she is. And yeah, it was very like what's the word? Like a routine. It was like a routine,
Yeah,
and it was like the same every Sunday, really. Uh,
right.
I kind of eventually grew to um, realize that I wasn't agreeing with a lot of the way that the church as a community was acting, like
Okay.
especially like being in a small town, like it's like a lot of gossip, a lot of
Mm,
like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And nothing on the pastoral staff. Like the pastoral staff was really great. They were amazing. But just like, like a small town, like traditional, judgmental kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I get it.
So it kind of
And
became like a place where like I didn't really feel like it kind of sounds bad to say, but like I didn't feel like I wanted to be associated with that, if you know what I mean.
yeah, absolutely. I get it. There's a tension there where I don't know, this was such a big part of your life, but there's also parts of it that you didn't enjoy. So
Yeah,
how do you walk in that, right?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so like I don't want to assume anything, but did something change for you with that? Because I mean, ever since I've known you, being in university and stuff, you've been not only just attending Mosaic regularly, but you've been very involved with Mosaic, and very involved in like the family of Mosaic and with friends and stuff like that. So, did anything in that like journey with Jesus change for you when you hit like a post secondary age?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say during high school, I never considered myself not to be like a Christian. Like I always believed it. I always went to youth. It was more of like a thing where that's where my friends were, so I would go. But like
Mm.
I never really went rogue, I guess,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like and like
yeah.
fell off or anything. But I definitely was just kind of idle. Like I just kind of
Mm,
like, oh yeah, like I go to youth on Thursdays, and that's pretty much it. But and then in post secondary, well, my first year I only went to Mosaic probably like twice,
okay.
and because it was something that like I didn't know anyone there really. I had a
Mm.
couple of friends who would go sometimes that I would recognize, but stop, Rue, stop, not right now. She goes, and it was definitely a big change from like what I'm used to.
Mm,
Uh, and then from my second year is when I really started to like kind of get involved. I because see a lot of the reason why I kind of fell away from it all was because um I had a lot of issues with like anxiety and depression growing up. Still struggle like today, but better coping or whatever. But a big thing was like if I ever brought it up, it was, oh, like pray about it,
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Yeah.
okay, like I did.
Yeah, like it's a
Like
valid
what now?
response, but
Yeah, like I did, and I didn't, and nothing really changed. So like, what now?
yeah.
And they're like, oh, just like keep praying about it, and like I did, and like nothing really changed. So I either A felt like I was doing something wrong, or B that like it I just wasn't worth having an like giving an answer for really.
Mm, yeah.
And I don't know, just like struggling with that and being in the church, I kind of felt like I was like a lot of things were contradicting, if that
Mm,
makes sense. Because
yeah.
like the whole cast your worries and burdens on God and all that, and that seemed to be like the end all be all of how to help, really.
Yeah.
And that wasn't working. So I was like, oh well, I'm doing something wrong. Like I'm not really like I shouldn't pretend to be like this perfect Christian, I guess, if like I'm doing this wrong. I feel like I'm stumbling over my words a lot. I don't really know how
No,
to explain it,
no, you're doing perfect. You're doing
you
absolutely
know?
perfect.
But yeah, it was very like being around the church after that, it kind of felt off because I just always felt like I was doing something wrong?
Yeah. That's crazy, man. And as a pastor, it's almost very eye-opening even for that passage for me because like I find it that's one of the easiest passages to kind of preach because it usually gives people so much like encouragement and uplifts them
Mhm.
and gives them the answer that they're looking for.
Yeah.
But I mean, from your perspective here, man, like it really it's eye opening to the fact that okay, so if I do this and it doesn't work, then what?
Mhm. I
Right?
like
And
it's a great passage, but I feel like it so much emphasis was put on that and like nothing else. Like it was the end all be all of like solutions, really.
yeah. And so like has is there a moment where you've kind of overcome that or have kind of I don't know if understood is a right word, but I kind of understand it better as it applies to your life and your situation, like, or are you still kind of just wrestling with that tension?
Uh there are still days where I wrestle with that like idea, but overall, like I would say when I started going to Mosaic regularly, like it kind of opened my eyes to be like literally no one's perfect. like
Yeah.
and sometimes you just don't get answers and that's okay. Yeah, like sometimes you just don't get answers and that's okay.
Mm,
Uh it was just more like it felt like such a more chill environment where I didn't have like an expectation really,
mm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm wondering if you could kind of give a bit of advice for anyone who's either just started post-secondary or are heading into it maybe now the fall. Is there any advice you can give to them now that you're kind of almost at, or well, at the end basically of your undergrad? Is there any advice you can give them, especially those who kind of they're either in high school now or maybe they're taking a year off and they have faith in Jesus and they're in this journey with Jesus and maybe in a bit of a spot where you were out of high school? Is there any advice you can give them as they head into post secondary of how they can make help foster that spiritual journey to continue to grow? Like, what are some practical things that they can do?
Um, I would say literally just stop trying to hold yourself up to like such a standard and just go to Mosaic. Because honestly, it just kind of like changes how, especially coming from like a small traditional like community church community,
Mm,
uh Mosaic definitely helped relieve a lot of the stress of expectation that I had on myself, I would
Yeah.
feel. But yeah, just stop trying to meet like that high expectation and just go to Mosaic. Like that's literally just that's my advice.
And just to be clear, I didn't tell you to say that. So
No,
this
it's
is not
not
like
a sponsored video, you know, not sponsored by Mosaic or anything.
I appreciate that answer though. I love that. Cool. And this last question, what do you like lately in your own journey with Jesus? What do you feel like God has kind of been teaching you lately?
Uh, to be honest, I don't know. I'm still
Yeah.
trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I feel like there's definitely something. Um, there's a lot of like unknowns in life right now,
Mm,
and I feel like you'll never truly kind of understand fully what like the plan is and all that.
right.
And yeah, and I'm just kind of going with the flow, and hopefully that lesson will be taught eventually.
Yeah, yeah. No, man, that's a very real space to be in. Like,
Hmm.
um, there's many points in our lives where we wish I don't know, maybe feel like we're not hearing from God very clearly, or maybe even feeling like He's not even speaking to us.
Yeah.
And that can be a tough space to be in. But the beautiful thing about your response is it's almost like you're not giving up on hearing them, though,
Hmm.
right? Like you're still waiting to hear something.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is cool, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, no, this was great, man. I had no idea. I mean, we didn't chat beforehand, and sometimes I usually do when I do these story nights, but so I had no idea where it was going. But you had so much good wisdom there, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Riley, thank you so much again for sharing your story and especially for being so honest and vulnerable, even about just some of the parts of your story and your relationship with Jesus that you found um, really hard and you're still even working through to this day. And that takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of courage. So thank you so much, man, for doing that. Again, if you haven't put a comment down about Riley's story and how it's made an impact on you, please do that now, even while I'm talking. And I don't want to take anything away from what Riley just shared, but I do want to touch a little bit on a part of the conversation that we had surrounding a verse that Riley hinted at that even kind of still leaves me with a bit of tension even after I had the conversation with Riley, and he said he's still working through it as well. But it's this verse in First Peter. It's in chapter 5, and it's mainly verse 7. And it says this: give all your worries and cares to God, for he cares about you. And this is a really encouraging verse. This letter was written to a church that was experiencing a whole lot of oppression, persecution for being believers in Jesus. And because of that, this letter was written to them to kind of give them encouragement, give them some wisdom, give them some guidance on how they can kind of work through that oppression, those trials that they were going through. And one of these like key verses that comes out of this letter, and one that people quote all the time, one that pastors preach on a lot, is this verse in chapter 5, verse 7: give all your worries and cares to God, for he cares about you. Because there's not much about that you can kind of have struggle with. You know, it's not hard to understand. You know, take all of your worries, anything that gives you anxiety, anything that gives you stress, and give it to God because he cares for you. And as a pastor, like I said with Riley in the conversation we had, you know, that's an easy kind of verse to preach because it gives someone kind of an uplifting encouragement in the struggle that they're going through. But Riley makes a really good point where, you know, the struggle comes in this verse when we feel like it's taking forever for God to help us with those worries, with those struggles, with those anxieties. And Riley shared so vulnerably how he has been struggling with that. And it was really eye opening to me as someone, as a follower of Jesus who, time and time again, I go to God with my worries, but also as a pastor where I use this verse a lot or verses like it. Like there's Paul who writes many letters, He talks about don't worry about anything, instead pray about everything. And then as well in Matthew, Jesus talks about why do we have to worry about what food we'll eat or clothing we'll wear? Like, don't worry about tomorrow. God cares for you. And all these verses are encouraging, uplifting, but we come to moments in our life where we feel like it's taking a while for God to respond. It's taking a while for God to help us through those worries that we're going through. It's taking a while for these trials to end. And so I just want to talk a little bit about what do we do when we feel like God isn't answering, or when we feel like God hasn't done anything to solve it. And I'm going to be upfront and honest. I'm not sure why God takes so long sometimes. We wait for answers from God forever, it seems like, and all we hear is silence from Him. We're not getting any kind of hint, any kind of vision, any kind of dream, any kind of answer for Him as we bring all of our concerns to Him, as we bring, our struggles to Him, our anxieties, as we bring all that to Him. We believe in our hearts and our minds that He cares for us, but it seems like it's taking Him forever to respond. And to that, I don't know why it takes longer sometimes. And it's a struggle. It's a hard place to be in. But I do want to encourage you a little bit with the verse that happens just before, in verse 6. The letter says, "So humble yourselves under the mighty power of God, and at the right time He will lift you up in honor." So humble yourselves under the mighty power of God, and the right time He will lift you up in honor. And this one kind of gives me encouragement as a reminder that as I bring my struggles, my anxieties, my worries to God, I know He cares for me. And I need to be patient and trust in the mighty power of God, that at the right time He's going to show up in my time of need. Now this passage, that verse is more focusing on with the intent of looking ahead to eternity when Jesus returns. And we've read about it in Revelation before when we studied Revelation at Mosaic, where we'll spend eternity with Jesus, and there'll be no more crying, no more hurt, no more pain. And so this verse kind of has the intent of referring to that. But I also think we can take it and apply it knowing that, even though we've brought all of this to God, we shared all of our worries or concerns, even though we're still waiting, it seems like forever for a response or for Him to move in that situation, we can be reminded that we are in God's mighty power and He is at work, and at the right time He's going to move. And I remember a couple weeks ago there was this meme going around, or a picture going around, and it basically said, it was this stick man, I believe, and if I'm getting this completely wrong, I'm sorry, but it was like a stick man. He said, "God, where are you? Why aren't you going to show up in my situation? Where are you in what I'm going through?" And then there's another picture that's zoomed out on the person, and the person's actually placed right in the palm of God's hand. And I want to share that to encourage you, similar to this verse is saying that, even though we have moments where we feel like God's not responding, even though we feel like there's times where He's taking Him forever to move in a certain situation or answer a question that we have, it doesn't mean that we've left His hand, His mighty power. We are still right where we need to be, and He's just waiting for the right time to respond. And so I hope that kind of encourages you. I know it doesn't answer the when. I know it doesn't answer when this is going to be solved for you or when you're going to get that answer. But I hope it encourages you that He is still there for you. He still cares for you, even when you feel like He's not anywhere near you. He is there. He's listening to your every need, your every concern, your every worry. He knows your every struggle, and at the right time He's going to move in that situation. And there's a few things we can do in those kind of moments where we feel like we're waiting on God. And the first thing we really should do is to continue to pray, continue to share how we're feeling, our struggles, our worries to God. Sometimes we may feel like we need to get angry with God. Do that. Let Him know how you're feeling. But then as well, respond with trust, knowing that you are right where you need to be and God is going to care for you at the right time. So continue to pray over that situation or that need. And the other thing is to seek out community. We do not have to go through these situations alone. No matter what the struggle is, you can reach out to someone that you trust and that will be there for you and has your best interest at heart, and to find encouragement and strength to get through it so that you do not have to go alone. We were not created as human beings to walk this earth alone. So seek out that friend, seek out that trusted person in your life to help you get through whatever it is that you're going through. And also think about in your situation what you can do practically. So maybe you're having some mental health challenges and you can reach out to a counselor to help you in this time of need. Like Riley said, a lot of times we bring some of these worries and people often say, okay, pray about it and it'll get figured out. But I believe God has placed people in this earth to be amazing counselors that can hear you out and give you some practical advice, and God can actually move through that situation through those people. And so maybe it's a mental health challenge that you're working through, you're looking for answers from with God, and one of the things practically you can do is reach out to a counselor. And if that's something you're interested in, please email me, reach out to me, and I would love to get you connected with some people that I know that would be more than happy to help you in whatever situation it is you're in. But maybe you're looking for an answer, and a practical thing you can do is just to have a conversation with somebody and hash things out and work through it, and you might get an answer through that. Sometimes in these moments where we feel like we're not hearing from God, we can practically make a step towards whatever that answer is that God has for us. So these are some things that you don't have to kind of remain idle in whatever situation it is that you're in, whatever answer you're waiting for God, or whatever way you're waiting for Him to move in your life. You can do things, you can keep praying to Him, seek out community, and look for some practical next steps specific to the situation that you're in. So again, I want to thank Riley so much for sharing his story. We're going to keep these story nights going, so hopefully next semester we can make it happen again. You can hear from another key member of our family. But whatever it is you're going through today, I want you to know He does care for you. And even though it may feel like it's taking forever for Him to respond, forever for Him to move in that situation, He cares for you, He loves you, and at the right time, in the perfect way, He's going to move in the situation that you're in. If you need help with anything, if you need someone to chat with, if you need prayer through anything with this, please, again, feel free to reach out. You can email us at mosaiccampuschurch@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me on Facebook. Would love to hear from you and see if I can help you in any way. Have an awesome week, Mosaic. I will see you again soon, hopefully. Hopefully we can get back to doing in-person services soon. But have a great week. Stay safe, and we love you.